Hey, what's going on, guys? This is AndrewChicken, and welcome back to another video, live recorded on Twitch. Say hi, chat, they're below me. But yeah, we are basically going to be going over today the VII part of the patch notes, because we already went over the patch notes in a previous video. You can go check that out. I'll have a link in the cards and in the description. This video is mainly going to be focusing on VII, because, well, they finally added him to the patch notes, and we've got a bunch of stuff. Ooh, don't want to scroll down too far. Don't want to spoil things, but we're going to be going over him on the patch notes here. And just checking out his abilities, checking out, you know, what he has to offer as the new champion starting off Season 5. So, let's just jump right in and take a look at his lore blurb. Oh boy, we got 3 paragraphs. Oh. Since the very beginning, the realm has been in peril. Be it calamitous threats rivaling the scourges of old, or the unbridled ambitions of evil men, fate has always conspired against realm kind. It was in defiance of this injustice that the Outer Tribunal was formed, but for true justice to prevail, the Order would need more than pious judges. They'd need an executioner, someone unburdened by the trappings of mercy, who would ensure that judgments cast were judgments kept. VII is one whose past is chronicled upon the gravestones of the wicked. He is the Grim Reaper, a collector of tithes made in guilty blood. Like a phantom, he undertakes missions that would break most men, employing ruthless force and deadly precision. But then again, who's to say he is even a man? Ooh. He's spoopy. He's basically Vaatu, but if Vaatu had a gun, and he's basically just cooler Koga, honestly. Like, he's got the gun, he's got the mask, he's got the ninja assassin vibe. He's just cooler Koga. That, like, pff, honestly. So, yeah. But let's see what he's got to do here. So he is a flank, of course. We all pretty much anticipated that. Since we've had a new champion of every other class, you know, except, you know, Vaatu. Like, Vaatu was the last flank, and then we had a healer, damage, and tank. So it just makes sense to release a flank next. He's got 1900 health, on the low end, of course, but all flanks are usually pretty squishy. And his weapon is Koga, but different. And it's actually pretty neat. It's the first gun that has, like... Well, I guess it's not the first gun that has 2 fire modes, because Kinessa did that first. But it's the first gun to have 3 fire modes. So, we have the Heavy SMG, which its default fire mode is Burst mode. You know Victor's talent? That's a thing that he has too. Fire off 3 150 damage shots every 0.65 seconds. It has a maximum range of 300 units, being fully effective at 130 units with perfect accuracy. So it is very accurate, and it basically is your long range option. So if you want to poke people, that's what you use. And then his up close, like basically melee range option, is Mag Dump. Unload your entire magazine, dealing 500 damage for every 10 bullets fired. And he has a maximum capacity of 40 bullets, so 4 times 500, that's 2,000 damage. That's a lot of damage. That's enough to one-shot, or one-shot. It's enough to 40 shot. Some champions like Skye, unless they buy Haven or Veteran. And it's enough to seriously wound pretty much most squishy champions. But it has some wicked recoil, and it's basically just, yeah, you can see right here. A max range of 100 units, effective range of just 15 units. So you gotta be really close to get max damage out of this, but if you are that close, it's a lot of damage. It's absolutely crazy. And then automatic mode. Fire off your automatic SMG, dealing 175 damage every 0.175 seconds. So a bit more damage per shot than burst mode. You know, just consistent, rapid fire. And it has worse range than burst mode. You can see max range is significantly shorter, and so is the fully effective range. It's slightly shorter at just 90 units. So you've kind of got your close, mid, and long-range options. Basically, pick the tool for the job, and yeah, you got to answer for pretty much every range, which is nice. And then, how do you switch between each mode? Well, it's his alt fire. So, this ability is pretty much just switch between the 3 fire modes. You know, they needed a button to switch between it, and they decided to make it one of his abilities. Pretty boring, so, but yeah, I mean, you got to switch between them somehow. So, but yeah, I kind of like this idea of having like 3 different fire modes. So, depending on the range, depending on your preferred fire mode, like, you got options. And that's cool, and it is the way to differentiate it between different SMGs in the game, like Corvus's, for example, or Koga's. So, that is pretty nice. So yeah, and honestly, I think that this like mag dump will be really good with deft hands, which keep in mind the cauterize change next patch. Again, I have a video going over like that cauterize change and all the other changes. Go check that out if you don't know what I'm talking about. But with the cauterize change next patch, this guy will be able to first buy deft hands. And first buying deft hands with a mag dump that does 2,000 damage, that sounds pretty darn good. Of course, the one caveat is, yeah, you only have 1,900 health and you got to be in melee range to get this like most effectiveness out of this. So yeah, it is going to be pretty interesting to see how people play with that and see how good it is. But deft hands might actually be an unironically good buy on this guy, especially because cauterize, you won't need to buy that anymore. So, but anyways, moving on. His first actual ability that's not a gun is explosive dodge. So you can dodge 30 units in 1 of 4 directions, dropping an explosive trap that has 3 explosions, dealing 250 damage for each explosion. So basically how this works is you press the button, you drop some bombs where you were, and then you just, Cassie dodge roll, forwards, to the right, to the left, to the back. So it's basically called Cassie dodge roll, but with bombs. So, and they explode every 0.45 seconds. Basically, 2 explosives can be out at once, apparently, according to this. The way it looked in the like the teaser thing that we saw earlier was that like they would explode if someone got close to them. I'm not sure if that's exactly the case. I mean, it says it's a trap, so I assume like someone gets closer and it explodes. We'll have to see that on the PTS, and of course, when you see this in the video on YouTube, you're gonna have the PTS gameplay like over there. So. Yeah, you'll see that in more detail, and I might have like a separate clip for that as well. Anyways, next, moving on, is the grappling hook, an ability we've wanted for a long time, an ability that, a lot of us wanted for Skye to have, because that would be cool. But, yeah, an ability that VII has, actually. So, basically, you grapple to walls, and you stick to them for up to 5 seconds. So, you just grapple, and then once you're there for 5 seconds. And you become stealth for the entire duration. So, basically, you just grapple up, and then you're invisible. No one can see you. But if you shoot, you'll still remain attached to the wall, but you'll no longer be invisible. So you can still attach to the wall and then go pew 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 pew, but you'll be able to be seen and you won't be able to move. But you can also just move, and at that point you'll just ungrapple. So, oh yeah, and another thing about the grappling hook that it doesn't say here is that you can actually grapple to enemies. So, like they showed in the example, and I'll probably have some footage up on the screen as well, you can basically sort of mini Makoa hook someone. Like if they're a squishy champion, you grappling hook them, and they'll kind of get launched towards you a little bit. Kind of think like, fishing rod from Minecraft, like similar thing, like you just yoink! Kind of like that, but it's not as reliable as a Makoa hook. And if you grappling hook to a tank, you'll actually pull yourself towards them, which is kind of an interesting thing. Right. That, it's kind of cool, kind of a different interaction, which I'm all for it. I like, dynamic, cool interactions like that, so... Yeah, and what it looked like on the gameplay teaser and stuff as well is that he also has 2 charges of this, which is pretty cool. So a lot of mobility on this champion. Explosive dodge, grappling hook, 2 ability mobilities, and this one has 2 charges. And then his ultimate is Order 77. Of course. You have to target enemies with your mask, locking onto them. So basically he pulls up a visor, kind of like Victor's ult, and then you lock onto an enemy. While the enemies are marked, you can refire the ultimate to trigger the mark, and it'll deal 250 damage and then fear them for 2 seconds. So it does a tiny bit of damage, and then they get feared. So it's a nice crowd control thing for 2 seconds, and they'll just kind of run away, like Maldamba's ult, but it's just like a targeted thing. It looks like you can mark multiple enemies with this ultimate, which is cool. And yeah, you can target up to, it says right here, you can target up to 5 enemies, duration is 5 seconds. So yeah, you basically have a 5-second window of opportunity to mark as many enemies as you desire, and then you just refire the ultimate, and you'll do a tiny bit of damage, fear them, and while they're feared, obviously, you could probably just walk up to them, pop a mag dump in them, And that extra 250 damage means that the mag dump will likely one-shot a squishy champion if there's someone like, Leon, or Cassie, or Victor, or something like that. Or at the very least, they'll get very, very close to death. So, kind of a nice combo there. Another combo you could do is grappling hook up, be invisible, then press ult on an unsuspecting foe, fear them, and then drop down and shoot him. There's lots of combo play you could do with this, which I think is pretty cool. So, that's nice. Alright, next up are his talents. We have the default talent, tribal upgrades. Yo, this guy is grok now, man. Nah, tribunal upgrades. This is actually a pretty interesting talent to play around with. It basically gives him like different forms of like debuffs or crowd control to an enemy. So the heavy SMG now has 3 elemental effects. Fire imbued mag dump that deals damage over time. So the mag dump, which already does 2,000 damage, is going to get a bit of fire on it too. So it didn't look like it was too much extra damage, but it's still extra damage on an ability which already does a lot of damage. So pretty good. And then the burst mode is electrically charged. So that long-range burst mode, you know, that long-range option is going to have electricity on it. And that electricity is going to reveal them and do some AoE damage. So, yeah, people around them are also going to get shocked a little bit. And if they go behind a wall just after getting shot, you know where they are because they're revealed. So that seems pretty cool as well. And then ice-infused automatic fire. That slows enemies. So you want that consistent automatic pressure on them. You want to get that done even easier. You don't want to stop them from running away. Just slow them with your automatic fire. You know, and they're just walking at a snail's pace. Of course, I don't know how like effective the slow actually is. We're gonna have to test that. But this seems really, really cool. Like really cool. So I like this idea of a talent. Definitely something more original than like, you know, Azan's talent, persistence. Hey, you want some lifesteal? It's way better than that, so I like that at least. Level 2 talent is Overcharged. Order 77. Ultimate is now Overcharged. Ooh, hey! Yupiner. Hey, thank you for the resub. That's how you pronounce that, trust me. Yeah. Yeah, the ultimate will no longer fear enemies, but it'll deal 1100 damage after targeting an enemy for 1 second. So basically, you just look at him, you go, kind of like a laser blast thing. Right. And yeah, that's half of most people's health right there with the ultimate. So it turns it into more of a damage ultimate than a crowd control ultimate. And it also gives you much faster ultimate charge rate. 50% increased ultimate charge rate. That's pretty huge. So I imagine you'll see this one more, you know, against a team where you need a lot of burst. Or if your team already has a lot of crowd control, and the enemies are going to be buying resilience. Like, say you have an Ashe and an Atlas on your team. The enemy team is going to be buying resilience like crazy. And so your ultimate won't be that effective normally. So you would go overcharged, and then suddenly your ultimate is much more effective. Because, you know, obviously resilience won't counter it anymore. So, pretty interesting thing here. Completely reworking the ultimate with this talent. I like it. And then the level 8 talent is spring-loaded. This is the most boring talent in my opinion, but still a cool talent nonetheless. Explosive Dodge. Drop an explosion where you land and take off from. Decrease the cooldown by 35% and increase the range by 25%. So you dash farther, you drop an explosion where you land and where you take off from. So double the explosions, and you can do it more often, so more mobility. So this is kind of the mobility talent, this is kind of the utility talent here, Tribunal Upgrades, and this is the damage talent, Overcharged. Sort of. You could think of it that way. Personally, I'm much more of a fan of these two talents, Tribunal Upgrades and Overcharged. I'm gonna be perfectly honest, but Spring-Loaded might be fun too. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it all works. We'll see how the explosions operate, you know, with, like, if you could just roll into somebody, drop explosions at their feet, and then do, like, a burst combo with that. Like, if that works, like, you could do a burst combo with Spring-Loaded, then Spring-Loaded might be better than I'm making it out to be. We'll see. We'll just have to test that, honestly. Anyways, next up are his cards. Let's see if there's anything actually interesting here. Or if it's just boring heal cards or something. Right. Which, the first card is a heal card. Fragments. Heal for up to 50% of your maximum health over 5 seconds while latched to a wall. So if you max this card out, you're healing yourself for 10% of your max health a second. So 190 heals per second. Which... All right! That's less than Genos Mark. Like, Well, I say less than a Genos Mark. Less than the buffed Genos Mark from this patch, like from Season 5. So... And it's only while latched to a wall, but you might not be latched to a wall for the full 5 seconds. Interesting card. We'll see how good that heal is. We'll see if he has better healing options. Never look, just base gain health card. Right. Okay. Reset the cooldown of Grappling Hook after falling below up to 50% HP. 25-second cooldown. Okay, that seems like a pretty good card. Especially if it resets both charges. That'd be pretty cool. And then also... Oh, he's got a reload speed card. Okay, so you could pop this in there. And then just only buy Deft Hands 2. Like, you pop that in at level 4, and then bam. Only a 750 credit sink as opposed to a 1500 credit sink. Could be interesting, especially considering that reload speed will actually be really, really good with his mag dump, I'm anticipating. Because, yeah, it dumps your entire mag. You're going to want to reload quickly after that to finish them off. So, that could be a good card on him compared to, like, other champions of reload speed cards, just because of that gimmick right there. But I don't know, again, he might just have straight up better cards and you might never see this. Who knows? Equivocate. Grappling hook enemies. Or grappling hook it. That's some weird English there because it's the name of an ability, but basically if you hook an enemy, it heals you by 100 for non-frontline and 200 for frontline. So if you hook... Oh, that's... Wait a minute. That's 200 at level 1. Which means if you scale that up to level 5, that's a 1,000 heal if you hook a frontline. Dude, what? Hello, this is Andrew from the future, come to tell you that previous Andrew is an idiot and assumed that it would scale basically double, triple, quadruple, pentuple, whatever the listed value was on the card, when actually that's not always the case for some of these cards. For example, Equivocate isn't as OP as I thought it would be. Basically, you know, it starts off 100 for for tank enemies and 200 for tank enemies, and it actually just scales up, you know, by 100 per point. So it's not a 1,000 burst heal, it's actually just a 600 burst heal for maxing this card out, which seems much more reasonable than I anticipated. Oh no. Okay, it might not be as good in game, but Azan's got me scared, okay? Azan's got me scared. I mean, we saw his powerful healing cards and we were like, yeah, that's pretty scary. And then they got thrown back a little bit, but they were still absolutely OP coming into the live patch. So I think we should be very careful with Equivocate here. We should be very careful. We should test this card thoroughly, and if it's OP, we need to yell at high-res. We do not want another character with OP healing, but this does seem good. This does seem like a good card to run. My goodness. Oh, and back-to-back survivability cards. My city. Gain 10% DR while latched to a wall. That is up to 50% damage reduction if you cap that out. For potentially 5 seconds if you just stay latched to the wall for the full duration. So potentially 50% DR while latched to a wall for 5 seconds, and you can shoot for those 5 seconds, but of course they'll be able to see you when you're standing still, so it'll be easy to shoot, but that's a lot of DR. But you can't move, yeah, exactly. That's still a lot of DR, though. Like, I'm imagining you just latch to a wall, and then tank a skybomb to the face or something like that. Terror seems fun. This looks like an interesting card. Increase the strength at which 7 is pulled by 5%. Hey, I like mobility. That seems cool. And reduce the cooldown of explosive dodge by 1 second, so up to 5 seconds after using grappling hook, so you can use your mobility to reset the cooldown of your mobility. Now I'm wondering if you can use that mobility to reset the cooldown of the mobility, so you can reset the cooldown of the mobility, so you can reset the cooldown of the mobility. Yeah. Well, let's see if that's the case. But first, trigger discipline. Refill ammo when you swap alt fire, up to 20. So refill up to half your mag when you swap alt fire. That could actually be a pretty good card. Decrease the recoil of mag dump. Make mag dump up to 50% easier to hit. Wow. Okay. That might be good for a like up close and personal playstyle. But at the same time, if you're up close and personal, you probably don't need that. Interesting card. I don't know. We'll see how that works on the PTS. Gain up to 20% more movement speed while in automatic fire mode. That's an interesting card. Okay. And reduce active cooldowns by up to 5 seconds after getting a kill while in burst mode. So the long range thing, if you get a kill with it, you get 5-second cooldown reduction on everything. And this isn't on elim either. So a pretty limited cooldown reduction card, but still a cooldown reduction card that could be interesting. But it's also only in burst mode. Yeah, I'm going to have to play with that a lot to see if it's actually good or not. See how much I'm using burst mode, see how effective that is. Interesting cards there for trigger discipline. Okay, let's see. Reduce the cooldown of latch by 1 second after using dodge roll? Wait, what is latch? Is that grappling hook? Question mark, question mark, question mark. Strange card here. Okay. Increase the distance of explosive dodge by 5%. Okay, so you can go faster. Generate 10 ammo after activating explosive dodge. Wait a second. Wait a second. Wait a second. Wait, just a second. Okay, so his weapon and armor, he has no max ammo card to increase his max ammo. And if we scroll up here, hold on now. The heavy SMG has a maximum round capacity of 40 bullets. Wait a minute. So, so nasty surprise at level 5 is a waste of loadout points. Because that'll give you 50 ammo after activating explosive dodge. The silliness aside, this could be a really good card, alright? I saw someone point this out in the chat. McCree moment, though. Yeah, McCree moment, right? You get up close to somebody. You do a mag dump. Boom! Right. There's 2,000 damage. Explosive dodge. Potentially, right? With this talent, spring-loaded, right? So you drop some explosives in both places as well. And then you get your 40 ammo back, and you do another one of those without even needing deft hands. So you just mag dump, roll to get some bombs, and then do another mag dump. That is some serious burst. That is some serious burst. Hey, Future Andrew again. It doesn't actually scale by 10 like I thought it would on the PTS patch notes. It actually scales by 5 even though it starts at 10, which is a bit weird. But you can see here if we max out the card, it actually only generates 30 ammo after activating Explosive Dodge, which means you don't get a full clip back, actually, when you use Explosive Dodge. So the burst combo isn't really as powerful as we thought it would be. However, I still made the theorized build that we thought would be really good here with Nasty Surprise 5, and I'm using Spring Loaded for that cooldown reduction on his, what is it called? Explosive Dodge. Yeah, that. I'm still getting used to the names. And if we go ahead and grab this here, these guys are perpetually walking because of the ult, but we can mag dump, dash through, got another mag dump, and he's half health. And the bombs, they're a bit finicky. Sometimes they don't actually blow up. But yeah, we can do like that. Do that, they blew up, do another one, that's a double kill. So this burst combo does still work really well. In fact, if we can get another Fernando to respawn here, I'll demonstrate the power this burst has on a tank. Come on, there we go, so do that. Quickly dash through, there's bombs, and we actually just straight up killed him. That fast. That freaking fast. And we can do that again. Boom, there we go. And I was a little bit too far away that time, so I already got the fall off, and I don't think I hit one of those shots there, but yeah, the point still stands. This is a crazy burst combo. Do that, and he's almost dead. One more burst combo. There we go. Super powerful burst. And also, if we just headshot this Ying. Why did she... Okay, well. Whatever. You get the point. This is very good. This mag dump, absolutely insane ability. Absolutely insane. Another thing people were wondering is if the Tribunal Upgrades talent actually makes it so you can one-shot people with this mag dump here. Yes and no. For Ying, for example, that fire will kill her. On Victor, however... Oh, he's being a goofball again. Well, for Victor... Stand still. Stand... There we go. These bots, man. Anyways... Oh, it did one-shot that time. It wasn't one-shotting earlier when I tested it. But yeah, still, anyone with slightly more health than this guy, like a Victor with health card at level 1, level 2, is going to escape on a sliver of HP. However, a good combo you can do is this. Use the grappling hook for that. My goodness, the fall-off. I'm not used to that. Like, do this, grappling hook, dead. In just like that. Super duper fast. So, like, if you want to kill someone, for example, do this, that, grappling hook. You get in close, do this combo, the mag dump, with the grappling hook, like that, and it's going to kill them. Really fast. Alternatively, well, I missed one of those shots, but you get the idea. Grappling hook them over to you. Mag dump. What is this burst? What is this burst, Ying? It's crazy. It's crazy, dude. Look at that damage. No headshots required, even. This might be a little overtuned. And by might be, I mean, it's overtuned. Especially because they haven't factored in deft hands yet. This was another thing people were wondering. How crazy is this with deft hands? Yeah, it's about this crazy. It's about that crazy. If we can get Fernando to respawn again, look at this burst. Also, the reload animation is glitched. But yeah, we just do this. Body shots only. To death and beyond. This is dumb. This is dumb. Factor in headshots. That's a tank, by the way. Just in case you were curious. There is the excuse to be made that, oh, well, you're up close and personal, so you're putting yourself at risk. But are you really putting yourself at risk when you kill them this lightning fast? I don't think so. Guys, I think we have a problem on our hands. Of course, I haven't actually played him in a real game yet. This is still, like, early, you know, showing off his kit type thing that I'm doing right now. But This still looks absolutely ridiculous. Also, another thing, yeah, it gets significantly worse even at this range. Like, even at this range, you can't one-shot. But you can two-shot, and with deft hands, pretty fast. Like, even at this range, you notice it takes significantly longer, but still, that's pretty darn fast. And considering you don't have to buy cauterize even now, yeah, deft hands is the way to go on this guy. Until mag dump, like, if it gets nerfed, which it probably will. However, if you don't want to be an absolutely busted close quarters fighting monster, you can go for the more tactical approach, which is using a build that I think is quite fun. And it is this build, the reset build. So we have the Fear 5, which is the main thing. You get cooldowns reduced while you're using burst mode, which is his second best fire mode, you could say. And then you also get cooldown reduction on latch after using dodge roll, just as a failsafe if you don't get a kill in a while, because it does have to be a killing blow with the fear. Can't be an elimination. And then we also have some DR while latch to a wall, which is pretty helpful. Tiny bit of healing and a tiny bit of health. And we can basically just do this. So we latch to the wall, and then get a kill. There we go. And then we latch to the wall again. And then we get a kill, and then latch to the wall again. And get a kill, and then latch to the wall again. And bear in mind, with a damage reduction card, this is effectively almost permanent uptime on the DR. Granted, you're not moving, you still have 1900 health, like Mave health territory. That's a lot of DR, and it can keep you alive through some pretty beefy things. Especially if we were to alter the build. Oop, wrong button. If we were to alter the build, just crank this up higher, crank this down, boom, that's 50% DR while latched to a wall. Ugh. I didn't latch for some reason, that's weird, but we can do that again. There we go. And boom, now I have basically permanent 50% DR. Basically. Again, I have yet to try this out in a real game. But, first impressions in the shooting range? I mean, this looks like a pretty fun and also very viable way to play 7 here. But now, kind of the last thing here, let's take a look at his skins. Or rather, at least the, the splash arts. And I guess once I finally make this into a video, I'll have probably gameplay footage, or at least, you know, PTS footage somewhere over there. So, yeah, we got Deadly Pallor up first. Probably my favorite skin of the bunch. It looks white, has a red mask, reminds me of Revenant from Apex, sort of. That was kind of like my first go-to thing I thought of. Which, I don't even play Apex, but I remember seeing the guy and was like, whoa, Red Skull Robot, that's cool. Anyways, moving on, we have Crimson Guard, another unique skin, sort of. All of these are basically recolors, but with different variations to make them unique. So, like you see here, these first two have different masks, as opposed to his default skin, which you can see here. So his default skin is this sort of mask, which looks pretty wicked. And then down here, different mask, different color schemes. And another thing they noted is that his capes all have different, like, different patterns on them as well, which you can't really see in the splash art because it's behind him. But yeah, we'll see if that's true in the PTS. But yeah, really cool looking skins so far. We've got Ivy Sentinel as well. Oh yeah, and by the way, this first one unlocks through the Season Pass, so you have to buy the Season Pass to get this one. And it'll be completely unobtainable after the Season Pass is finished, so if you want the skin, you gotta buy it, otherwise there's no other way. This one is the recolor purchase for gold, and Season Pass holders will automatically unlock this skin. Then we've got this one, which is obtained by a gold chest, or direct purchase, or PlayStation Plus pack, which I didn't realize existed. Or, you can obtain this by a system message. Hey, what does that mean? Okay. Well, still a cool looking skin though. This is more like a... He's giving me Knight vibes. Looking like a medieval boy. Wearing some beautiful looking armor. Looks pretty sick too. I'm liking all these so far. And then we get into my opinion the less appealing but still really cool looking skins. Death Orchid, you get this one through Trials of the Realm. Biting Wind, you get this one through the Bounty Store. But first you have to unlock the Event Pass in order to be able to buy this skin from the Bounty Store. And it's kind of a chill one. Kind of actually a similar color palette to Sigma Vivian, which we currently have in the Bounty Store. And then, last but not least, a gold skin for me to grind for. And this looks super sick. This looks super sick. So, yeah, this splash art is making me think that we have a potential new best gold skin in the game. Potentially. Right? We'll have to see once we get on the PTS. But, like, in my opinion, currently the best gold skin of the game is Vatu's. It looks amazing. The detail is astounding. It's just phenomenal. But if they do this one right, and it looks as good as it looks in the splash art, I think it might overtake it. Just because of the detail on his model. There's much more to detail. There's much more to make look pretty. And, like, the color placement, the details on the skin, just looking at it here, looks great. So, that's very exciting. And of course, we can see a bit of his default model down here. So you can imagine what this would look like all bedazzled with gold and black. Like, here's his emotes, right? Just kind of does gun shenanigans for his default emotes. He's like, oh my gosh, they could be anywhere. I gotta look. Whoa. And then his second emote is silencer. Let me watch that again.
All right!
Oh, he's just... Shh. I'm gonna go flank these guys. Don't tell anyone I'm here. Shh. Yeah. I also imagine, like...
You're the Puma's
he could just...
pajamas.
Ooh, hey! Another sub, tier 1 sub by Daddy Pool. Thank you very much. But yeah, I also imagine, like, you just walk up to the new Maeve skin this update. She's just blasting your eardrums out with her annoying voice. And you just go up and be like... Shh. Don't say anything. Or, you know, you see this gun? Yeah, I'm gonna do this to you. Ooh. Yeah, that's pretty cool. And he's got MVP business as well. Default one looking boring as crap, because it's default, and it's supposed to. And then Educator. He's kneeling on the ground. Wow. And lastly, I want to play some voice lines for you guys. So I'm going to shut up, I'm going to turn the volume up, and let you guys hear Seven's voice.
Who are you? My man. Haven't lost my touch. Badass. That's it. Oh well. I'll see you later. Don't do this. Going dark. To death and beyond. Cerebral terror bomb engaged. Cerebral terror bomb engaged. Reposition. I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid.
Double kill.
But anyways, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video of me covering 7 on the patch notes. And yeah, we're going to get some gameplay footage of him shortly after this video. Like, by the time you see this video, the PTS is already out. And so I'll have gameplay videos coming up of him very, very soon. And yeah, he looks like he's going to be just a boatload of fun. But yeah, if you guys have enjoyed, make sure to drop a like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. And also, hey, we're recording this live on Twitch. Come check out the Twitch chat, or Twitch channel. Check out the Twitch chat too. You know what? Check out the Twitch channel. I do stream regularly. I play Paladins. I play with viewers. I answer questions. I ask questions too. Why is this ability broken? Why does this game suck? Why is there lag? Yeah, we ask a lot of questions on Twitch. So go check out Twitch. And also make sure to check out the Discord server as well. Link is in the description. We have a wonderful community of people. If you want to go find some friends to play Paladins with, or just talk about the upcoming patch notes, or heck, play with people on different games too. We have games, or we have chats for other games too. So yeah. Anyways, I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.